Hey guys, today I'm gonna rank my personal top 10 film score compositions of 2017. And when you talk about what's a great composition or what should a film score composition do for a scene, then I will say that first and foremost, it should enhance the experience of watching the scene in the movie in such a way that is beyond your biggest expectations. And at the same time, it should also be spectacular and give you some kind of emotions, whatever they are, happy, sad or even angry, but you must have a reaction to it. And I'm very happy that all the compositions that are on my list have those elements. But before we start, I have to mention that I decided to use only one track from one particular movie, so that made my rankings even harder. But nevertheless, I will also highlight other tracks from the soundtrack if the movie has some good ones. So, with that out of the way, let's start with the top 10 list. Number 10, Up to Eden, Logan, Marco Beltrami. Up to Eden represents everything what Marco Beltrami was trying to do for Logan. Different in style compared to other superhero movies, intimate, hopeful, minimalistic, but above all else, emotional and beautiful. And certainly a nice way to start my top 10 list. Number 9, Joy, Blade Runner 2049, Hans Zimmer, Benjamin Wallfisch. Joy from Blade Runner 2049 plays during the greatest and most original love scene of this year, and maybe even of all time. It's such a nice and easy listening composition that captures the jaw-dropping love scene in such a peaceful and respectful way that it's a joy to listen. Do you see what I did there? Number 8, The Mummy. The Mummy, Brian Tyler. The story of The Mummy breaks my heart. A great score overall and a theme that is worthy of the best themes in history of movie soundtracks. And then it is almost all for nothing because the movie is, well, shit. But nevertheless, Brian Tyler creates one of his best scores and it is only a question of time when he will get his first Oscar nomination. Number 7, Dad, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Tyler Bates. I didn't quite love the score for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because it didn't go very well with the popular songs that are used, so it wasn't a very good fit for the movie. But the composition called That represents the pure talent that Tyler Bates has, and it is the highlight of the movie, so without a doubt it deserves to be on this list. Number 6, We Shall Fight, Darkest Hour, Dario Marianelli. We Shall Fight plays during the most famous speech from Winston Churchill at the end of the movie, and it just gives you chills when you watch the scene, and that is what filmmaking and music making is all about. Number 5, Victoria and Abdul. Victoria and Abdul, Thomas Newman. Well, Thomas Newman is just a spectacular composer. Soundtrack after soundtrack, everything he does is excellent. But the titular theme from Victoria and Abdul might be his finest and most enjoyable composition in years. And I certainly won't be disappointed if the score finally wins him his first Oscar statue. Number 4, Crossing the Marigold Bridge, Coco, Michael Giacchino. The title of this composition actually describes this scene in the movie, but it is so much more than this title says. The animation, the cinematography, the music, and the story and emotion behind this scene. Everything is excellent, and this track actually represents one of the most unique and beautiful scores of this year. Number 3, Home, Dunkirk, Hans Zimmer. When you're on the edge of your seat for an hour and a half, it's such an enjoyable experience when it is finally over and you can relax in the most beautiful way with the variation of the Edward Elgar's Nimrod theme. And I would say that this track called Home is actually a perfect description for the whole score for Dunkirk. Number 2. The Rebellion is Reborn. Star Wars The Last Jedi, John Williams. Star Wars The Last Jedi has a lot of memorable old and new music, and it was hard to decide only on one. But the win goes to the track The Rebellion is Reborn, which is a wonderful new theme composed for the character of Rose, and it represents what John Williams does best and amazingly with ease, and that is creating new extraordinary themes for the Star Wars universe. So before I tell you my number 1 film track of 2017, let's check some honorable mentions. I'm sure you are now wondering what my actual number 1 is, so without further ado, my favorite film score composition of 2017 is... Number 1. Migration, War for the Planet of the Apes, Michael Giacchino. For me, the description of a great film score composition is when you listen to it on its own, let's say in 5 or 10 years from the movie's release, and you click play, and it immediately immerses you again into the world of the movie, and you imagine the scenery in which this composition is played. Think about it a little bit. And for me, no other composition gives me the feeling of instantly being in the movie better than the track Migration from War for the Planet of the Apes. The cinematography and the music itself are so beautiful and have that old Hollywood feel in it. So a joyful tear drops from me every time I watch that scene. So for me, this is by far the best film score composition of 2017. And that's it! What do you think about it? Did I miss some compositions? Tell me all your favorite tracks from this year in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, if you like movie soundtracks or movies in general, feel free to subscribe because this is the channel for you. So subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you like this particular video, and comment. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.